Ask Reddit by Captain Time 5556. What's a popular band whose songs all sound the same? Deleted. Love an optimistic spin on things. AC/DC. Not complaining, I'm a huge fan, but if you've heard one song, you've pretty much heard them all. Even Angus agrees. I'm tired of people saying we've made 11 albums that all sound the same, when in fact we've made 12 albums that all sound the same. One of my favorite quotes of all time. Cigarettes after sex. Their band's name sounds like something straight from 2016 Tumblr. Meghan Trainor. And I love pop music, so I'm not being mean. There's legitimately no variation. Her music is weird, it's like pretend children's music from Toys R Us. I started out really liking Mumford & Sons till I realized they were all the same. I know, they're no longer popular and I also know why. Somewhere on Reddit I saw someone call them Imagine Wagons and that's been stuck in my head as their alt name ever since. Maroon 5, Marizo for their current and not nearly as good stuff after their album V. Everything before that though was great. Songs About Jane is one I will listen to every few months for the rest of my life. The second one, maybe once a year or two, then I might play the third for old time's sake. Love them, but AC/DC. Enjoy, the greatest hit of Disturbed, https://yahoo.be/66gsv-necfg?sit566-dhw7qhlhx. David Draymond, the lead singer, said he died laughing at that video. Owl City. He was popular for a while with Fireflies, but all of his songs sound exactly the same. I used to study while listening to Owl City exactly because of this. After a while the sounds all blur together in the background and you can really get stuff done. Theory of a Nickel Creed. I prefer Puddle of Nickel Creed, myself. Pitbull is not a band, but yeah lol. Mr. Worldwide, something something or other. ZZ Top for us old timers and Drake for the youngins. I never thought to read ZZ Top and Drake in the same sentence. Not popular anymore, but 3 Days Grace and Godsmack. Godsmack is absolutely yes on this. Everclear. Love them, but they are pretty sammy. Father of Mine. Where have you been? We can live beside the ocean and watch the world die. All Bro Country. I couldn't tell those guys apart in a lineup. Christian music. It is hard to name one in that genre when they all sound the same and some are insanely popular. It's decent money. I very briefly was in a Christian post-hardcore band in the mid-zeros. A lot of the bands are made up of guys that just put on the act because the music couldn't make it on its own merit otherwise. If you're even half decent, you get so much access to the industry and all their listeners. You can be playing festivals or touring in no time, there's so much less competition. The Ink Spots. Every song starting with almost the exact same chord progression lol. Cake. They have a sound and they stick to it religiously, but I still think they are pretty great. One should never have to ask, is this cake? One should just know that it's cake. Very distinctive voice that John McCrea has. Everyone is saying AC/DC, but they used 4 chords. ZZ Top uses 3, 50 years, 3 chords. I like ZZ Top more than AC/DC. What does that say about me lol? Imagine Dragons. They figured out what kind of music gets used in commercial media and then absolutely hammered that button. Every popular modern country band, evidence, https://www www.youtube.com/watch?5SWIVXJ80 Thought this was going to be Bo Burnham. Not a band, but Ice Spice. I only know her from that Dunkin' Donuts commercial with Ben Affleck, and I legitimately thought she was just like a character DD came up with to sell pumpkin spice drinks. AC/DC. Not a band, but I'm finding all of Drake's music to sound the same lately. He's dropped so much music recently I don't even get excited to hear it cause I know it's gonna sound the same as the last one. There's a reason he was the poster child and one of the first examples of popularization for R&B music, and it's because of his recognizable voice but also because of his extremely same-wide delivery. That's my theory at least. His music is so similar that it was an easier first task for those R&B voices to try and replicate when that song Heart on My Sleeve dropped. Rio Speedwagon. It's all one song. You mean Rio Styx Journey Speedwagon? Most country music sounds like it was made in the same factory. If you played any given country song from the past decade and told me to guess which male artist sang it or die, I'd just start digging my own grave. The Lumineers. Hey. Don't know if they're still popular, but Godsmack songs are also similar to each other. I literally have difficulty telling them apart. I love this band and I won't stop listening to them, but Sabaton. Out of the trenches. They stormed from the trenches. One by one they're under the gun. Staring down the barrel. Thousands of machine guns. I came to this thread to see how far I'd have to scroll before someone mentioned Sabaton. Not wrong, but they are still one of my favorite bands. Their latest album was my most played album on Spotify last year. Status Quo. Infamous for using the same 3 chords. I mean, it's right there in the name. Going real old school, but John Philip Sousa. If you see his name on a program, you know exactly what to expect. And you can march to it. The Ramones. By design. Not popular anymore, but Spin Doctors. Their 2 hits felt like it basically the exact same song. They had 2 hits? Not a band, but Meghan Trainor Rug. One time I accidentally made a Spotify playlist of only 3 Deftones songs and listened to it long enough for it to loop several times. It took me a while to notice, but hey, I was having fun regardless. Not a band, but doesn't all of bro country pop country sound exactly the same? And X200B. For example, https://www.youtube.com/watch?5SWIVXJ80 right square bracket open bracket https://www.youtube.com/watch v=fy8SWIVXJ80. Jack Johnson. Very sammy but pleasant to listen to for a short while. Imagine Dragons. They sound like a fake band made up for video games. They do sound like ARMY made their entire discography. Wow, scrolling says AC/DC for the win. Bon Jovi. Formula works, but his early stuff and later stuff sound exactly the same. Blackpink. Please don't hurt me Blinks. Cigarettes After Sex. Also, Five Finger Death Punch. Again, huge fans so I'm not complaining, but they do stick to a certain formula and sound when writing new music. They've even done covers of Gone Away by The Offspring and House of the Rising Sun and they still distinctly sound the same. Young Gravy. Come at me haters. I would argue this is by design. He and BBNO $ have a very specific brand and sound they're going for, and To their credit, it's worked out really well for them. Obituary and Motorhead. Not a complaint. They may be one-trick ponies, but it's a really good trick. Imagine Dragons and AC/DC come to mind.